Hello, this is Brandon from Herbert-ABS with another learning series video. In this video, we'll be going over some recent updates to our tonnage calculation analysis package included with the latest update of HECSTAB. To add the package, you'll go up to the Tools ribbon, click on the Analysis Packages library, and if it's not added already, you'll click the checkbox in the Open column next to the tonnage calculation script to add it to the ribbon. From here, we can go to the New Tonnage Calculation ribbon option and select the analysis template to get started. The tonnage calculation analysis template will calculate gross net tonnage as well as segregated water ballast, if appropriate, according to the International Conference on the Tonnage Measurement. Before getting started in HECSTAB, you'll want to make sure your SH2 model file is complete with all hull and compartments. If you haven't done so already, you may want to update to the latest version 8.1 HECSTAB, which includes some new fields in the ship properties screen to enter in additional model identification information. Here you can see on the first particular section under description, there are a lot more fields which may be entered and can be used in the tonnage report. Some important sections to check within the model are in the geometry section. First, under the hull, go into our spaces list to make sure that any values needed for the gross tonnage are entered and modeled appropriately here. The second step is under compartments to make sure first that any cargo spaces to be used for the net tonnage calculation are marked appropriately. For instance, we can go into our cargo oil group for this tanker and making sure under each cargo oil tank we have the appropriate space type here selected. In this case, the cargo oil tanks type. Spaces marked as cargo will be automatically populated into the net tonnage spaces table. Additionally, if the vessel is meant to be carrying segregated water ballast, any water ballast tanks should be marked as such. Now going back to the analysis template, where we'll step through each of the instructions on the left. Starting first with the general identification, which you can see is modeled based off of the fields entered in Ship Project Editor. Any information that's not entered in the model can be entered here, but will not be saved back to the model. The next step is the principal particulars, which includes beam depth and depth, which come from the SH2 model, as well as entry for a number of passengers for the net tonnage calculation. At the bottom here is the checkbox option for whether or not the vessel is set to carry segregated water ballast. This box must be checked to do the segregated ballast tonnage calculation. The next step is on the gross tonnage spaces, which pulls all the information on volumes from the hull. Here you can see this table is automatically populated, but may be edited if necessary. The next step for net tonnage calculation, again, automatically pulls compartments marked as cargo from the Ship Project Editor. In this case, it's pulled all the cargo oil tanks from the model and automatically populated them here. Finally, if we selected the segregated water ballast checkbox, this table would be used to calculate the segregated ballast tonnage. You can see here it's automatically pulled in tanks that were marked for water ballast. But since I did not select the checkbox for segregated water ballast, that tonnage value will not be calculated. The final two steps for references and project notes allow for any additional notes or entries that are needed for generating the report. If there are no other entries to be made, we click on the Run Analysis button here, which will bring us one final pop-up regarding the tonnage rule length calculation. Here you'll see we bring in the vessel LBP, but additionally calculate the rule length from the tonnage rules. Here we'll modify it to match the value. Click OK. And we'll wait for it to generate the report, which is now brought up in Word here. You can see we start with any of the general identification information that was entered in the first step, some information on the principal particulars, and then the two tonnage values that were calculated. On the following pages are formatted tables for first the gross tonnage calculation, as well as the calculation details, and second is the net tonnage calculation, again with calculation details showing the final value. That's all for this video. For more information, please visit us at www.herbert-abs.com or email us at info@herbert-abs.com.